everyone, this is Annalisa. Welcome back. So, over the last week or two, I've been testing out different color combinations using the Tropical Splash and Deserted Island Prism Pour sets that I got because the colors in them are the brightest colors of any of Color Art's Prism Pours, in my opinion. They're just super bright and fun to use, and it's a very inspiring set of colors. And so when I'm doing different experiments, I like to try it with different backgrounds. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I definitely prefer black backgrounds, but in trying out things, I had to go with some different white options. So when I'm using white, I tend to like to put my darker colors on the bottom. But then, of course, I always like to put a yellow somewhere near the bottom because it pops up to the top at the very last bit when you're using your cell activator. It always just seems to come up to the surface in a really fun way. And it just makes it that much brighter. I also kind of feel like it's important to note that when I'm using a white background, I usually only put interference colors on top of the darker colors, whereas with a black pillow, I would typically, it doesn't really matter where I put my interference colors. I actually, in a lot of instances, prefer to put them on the bottom because it really just brightens the whole thing up. But when you're using a white background, you want them to really pop. And so that's why I always put them on top of a darker color. And then we've got Wild Orchid. I can't get over it. This is my favorite. I'm so glad that Leslie made this color. It really is beautiful, and I've been putting it in everything I've made recently. And that and Interference Violet, but I love Interference Violet, and I've been putting that in everything for a really long time. But that Wild Orchid, I have found so many new color combinations just trying them out with that color. Like colors that I've maybe used a few times and not really touched. Like it goes with everything. It's super crazy. So I like doing card swipes when I'm doing bright colors because they show them very nicely. When you are doing a card swipe or a swipe of any kind, it really helps to get as many air bubbles as you can out, which is why I was dropping it over and over on my spinner. It's not a foolproof way to get the air bubbles up, but it definitely helps, even if it might drive your family a little crazy, because it is kind of loud if you do it on top of a spinner, kind of like mine. Mine sits a little bit higher up off of the ground, or a little bit higher up off of my my puppy pool, and so it definitely makes a sound. But it makes it so that after you're done swiping, you don't just have random white pocks that appear out of nowhere. So the more air bubbles you can get up to the top, the better. And you can pop and fix some things at the end. It just doesn't work as well. It is definitely a good reason to have some of the embossing tools, especially ones with the thicker tip. When you're trying to fix the pocks that have come up, the thicker tip kind of makes it easier to smooth over white air bubbles that have come up to the top. With these card swipes, I always feel like I've got to make them even. and I'm not sure why, because once they're spun out, I really don't care. Like, they don't have, nothing about it has to be even or close to perfect once it's done, but there's something about them that just looks so oddball when they're at this step, if they're not, like, if the swipes aren't made evenly. When I'm doing my swirls, I really like to try to do continual lines. So you do, I've been doing a few key swirls, like the longer ones all the way through, but then I go through and I branch off of the main swirl, so that I've only got one continual line or two continual lines, and the rest are just branches. It kind of makes it look more like a vine. I don't know how else to explain that one, but I just feel like it gives it more of a flowing look and a little less choppy. So after I do my first spin or two, I really like to take a look and make sure everything is moving correctly and pop any additional air bubbles. Maybe double check to make sure I don't have any lumps in my paint. But this was what I was referring to with the embossing tool and getting like a thicker tip, because it really helps you to get rid of that pock that just popped up. Anyway, this is my pour. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making it. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already, please consider subscribing. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.